Alright. We have made it to the live drawing stream. It is Wednesday. Been running around all day, so I'm sorry I didn't post anything about the stream today. So I was on a pier, I was on a boat, I was at a shipyard, I was at another pier. So it was a long pier-filled day. So what I figured I'd do is just try to sketch a quick sketch cover, and I'll give a quick update because I promise, weekly updates on stuff. I'll show you the page. I'm working on page 56. This is where you'll see on Undersea Hero, you'll see the layer, you'll see this character, which right now we don't know him yet, but this is actually like hey Shane, good to see you, man. Page 56 is the one I'm on. We'll see Undersea Hero's undersea volcanic layer, all the cool stuff that exists near the ocean vents at the bottom of the sea floor, which I'm going to show that off. And this is a spider crab, and there's a character called the Spectacular Spider Crab that is going to show up in the next issue, and this is like a little cameo of him making his first appearance heading towards Undersea Hero's lair. And then we get an overhead shot of their little meeting space where we have Undersea Hero, Liquid Lad, and then we have three new characters right here. And then there's a knock at the door. And I don't know if I should show the last page at all, but the next page is the last page. But you can see here's the pencils that I've done so far, where we've got our little crab friend here, and we've got the cool smokers. These are those big long-necked barnacles that exist at the bottom of the ocean, and they live near the ocean vents on the sea floor. They're a really cool animal, and there's all kinds of stuff that only exists in that part of the world. It's like its own little, very specialized ecosystem. This overhead shot that I just kind of eyeballed here, I went in and I gridded it out so that it'll be drawn correctly. The chairs will be in perspective, and the human figures will be there. This is one of our three vanishing points. One is down here, one is up over here, and then the other one is up over here, just so that it's easy to do with a single ruler. So that's where I'm at, page 56. So page 50, it will actually have 57 pages, and that'll be the inside back cover. So it will be cover to cover, the story. So hope everybody's doing well. I know I didn't make an announcement, so I'm sorry about that. It's just been a very long day, lots of running around. So try to think of this. Way to do this. Even if we just get this pencil tonight, that would be I would be satisfied with that after today, because I actually have to do more work after the stream, which means we'll probably get very little sleep, and then I got to be up at 4:30 tomorrow. So, and then 3:30 on Friday. I can't wait. Can't wait for that. But that is the job that I signed up for, so we will go. This is going to be one of my just classic gags that I like to use, where they're saying the same thing at the same time. And I like having a bubble that has two tails, so you know that they're saying it together. So. but we got a handful of people in even without an announcement, so that's nice. It's interesting the head counter on Restream doesn't count some of the folks that are watching. So, but when I like hover over the little icon, it tells me how many are at each one. I'm always surprised at the number of people that show up on Twitch. I don't interact on that platform at all. So, I've been reading the Ostrander Mandrake Firestorm lately. That's been really good. So far, I just read the Elemental War, which was like a multi-part story, which I had never read before. I've read plenty of Ostrander Mandrake, and I'm a fan. So it's been really cool to find like a run that I hadn't read by that creative team. Tom is a super nice guy. He and his wife, Jan Dursema, I've had the privilege of meeting and spending a little bit of time with at conventions. Both incredibly talented artists. One of the cool things that I remember from a discussion with them was them talking about how they collaborate, and they'll like put pages down on a floor and like divvy them up and do the different tasks. And yeah, they've collaborated on a bunch of projects. They've obviously done plenty of their own stuff. You know, Jan drew Star Wars forever. Hey, Martha's, good to see you. I haven't had a chance to look up that. Actually, I did. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Gradient mapping is what you want to look up on YouTube for that level of glow. Yeah, gradient mapping, and it's a very analog. It's a. I draw fish and I draw people. Yeah, I mean, you can see that he's got a good friend who is a cuttlefish who likes to drink martinis and to gamble. There's crabs and fish, whales. We got whales. We got all kinds of stuff, all kinds of undersea creatures. One of the gags in this issue is when the villain sub is driving through the water. Little fish are hitting it just like bugs on a windshield, and then he's like looking out his window ominously, and then he goes, "There's only one move. There's only one first move to make after a fish explodes on his windshield." He just has a windshield wiper, and you can see the wiper right here. The setup is like, it's a very simple joke, but I enjoy it. Penguins with scuba tanks. So we try to have all kinds of cool undersea stuff. Undersea Hero is the main character, and if you wanted to delve into why he's called that, it's mostly because I think that comic book names are ridiculous, and it's a commentary and a celebration of that, because obviously I'm a fan. There's a, like if it's not clever, it should at least be easily descriptive. So, there's already an Aquaman, there's already a Submariner, there's all kinds of undersea characters. And I thought going with the most generic name possible. And I thought it had a nice ring to it. It had a cadence, a beat to it when you say Undersea Hero. Undersea Hero. The syllables, I think they work. Oh, wow, you saw a fin whale. That's really cool. Those are really rare. I mean, amazing that in the times we live in today, only a handful of years ago, they discovered an entirely new species of gigantic fin whale, and beaked whales. Like, oh, I mean, that's really cool. I'm jealous, Shane. I'm jealous. First, you were in San Diego, so like it's the weather was beautiful when it was not as beautiful uh, out in these parts. I keep applying to get back in as a just an artist guest at San Diego, and hopefully at some point they'll punch my ticket again for the convention out there. Had an opportunity to go last year, but it was a little too rich for my blood for the size space they were offering. I'm sure we would have done okay, but like it was a big chunk of money to not expect to have to drop. We were called on the off of the wait list, um, and it was a big booth space. It would have been tough to fill, and it was not quite. It was very close to the show, so it was like I wouldn't describe it as last second or anything, but it was too close to be able to like get a bunch of people together and set up like a studio booth. I am jealous. That's I can't even remember the last time I got to just go whale watching. That's a cool thing. Hey Michael, good to see you. Hope you're having an okay day. Hope everyone's having a good day. I was running around like a crazy person, so I wasn't able to put up a notice or anything. Oh, cool. You went to the Comic-Con museum. Neat. That's very cool. I've actually never been to the museum, so we'll spotlight the Michael. I can put the chat overlay on. I forgot to do that. Then we hit this button. Yeah, I've never been to the Comic-Con museum, so hey, good luck, man. Yeah. I know Mice has gotten very competitive over the years. It's very different from the show that I went to years ago. But Dan Mazer is a good guy. He's the lead mouse. I don't know how he would describe himself. He's been a central figure of the Boston comic scene for many years, founding member of the Boston Comics Roundtable. He's helped set up grants and all kinds of stuff for many different artists. Kalo Kino, hello. Oh yeah, please do, Michael. Yeah, I'd be happy to see it. I'd be very excited to see it. I've been reading all the comics that I showed off last week from CodCon, and I thoroughly enjoyed all the indie books I've read so far. One was about a kitty cat that went to outer space and met hermit crabs on an ocean planet. That was very enjoyable. What's the phrase? Get out of my dreams and into my car or whatever. see the middle of, if you ever wanted to draw Undersea Hero, instead of the middle of the skull being the bridge of the nose, it's actually the base of the nose. So that's how you know if you got the chin too big or too small. So you'd measure to the base of the nose and then you go to the top of the head. That's how you get that. That was actually how I cracked the design. I was working on the chin and everything, and I kept getting hung up. Hey, how's it going, Mr. Lockett? Lots of folks showing up. Got some new people showing up. Crackus is always fun to draw. Anytime you can get to draw a animated cuttlefish, it's a fun drawing. Hey, who knows if somehow these characters become popular in some way. If I ever have the luxury of getting tired of drawing the characters, that would be probably not in my makeup, but that would be an interesting thing. Because I won't lie, I did get a little burnt out on drawing Ninja Turtles at shows a few years back. I have since kindled my enjoyment of that. Just out of just having a break and the nostalgia, and I grew up being a fan of that stuff. There was enough time between, cutting back on shows was actually really good for my mental state, I think. I'll ramp them back up once Undersea Hero is done, but that'll hopefully be for people wanting to check out these characters. I think I have all of the Kickstarter sketches done. I think those are all done. I do have to finish obviously the book, but I also have to finish the one stretch goal piece that was the field guide. I've got the main figure drawn and I've got it laid out, but I do have to finish that too. It's a fun piece. I would be thrilled if someone took it to the beach. Am I coming to Baltimore Comic-Con? I don't think so this year. It's not looking that way. They haven't reached out to me, and I haven't reached out to them. So I love the show. Would love to be back. But just have not made that connection. I have seen some of the books. Oh, cool. Question from Douglas: am I referencing this from somewhere? You mean this drawing, or what? My rambling? My rambling just comes from my long day. This I'm just drawing from my memory. I use a modified, for people that don't know my work, I use a modified version of what Andrew Loomis used. It's a method of building figures with geometric shapes. I modified it because I found that for my purposes, if I follow it too rigidly, I get stiff drawings. Like there's not as much of an animated movement to them. And I'm sure that's just because I'm not, the level of artist that he is, or, a person who follows Loomis very closely, or followed, or, his teachings was Steve Rude. And obviously Steve's an incredible artist. Die-hard Marvel manga, Sega IDW, Sonic the Hedgehog fan. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, I was a hardcore Marvel person in my youth, but I would say that my brand allegiances faded away, and I much favor following different creators. I think that a good creator can take even characters that I'm not interested in and make good stories out of them, and I'm always thrilled when that happens. one of the most recent examples was actually one that, thanks to, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but Shane sent me a couple of those GI Joe comics, and I actually ended up picking up a bunch more. And I'm not a GI Joe fan of the IP, but I thought those and the Energon Transformers books that Daniel Warren Johnson did were just phenomenal comic books. I was pulled in by the artwork, the characters, the story, and I'm a person who knew very little about those. And I find it thrilling when creators do something interesting with stuff that I'm not necessarily like geeked up about. And you know, to me, in my mind, I saw like the toy license books as like B books, and I think that was the reputation of them for a very long time. Did I miss a comment? No. Okay. Sorry, I'm just a little tired today, so trying to make sure I get everybody's questions or comments and try to draw a presentable sketch. I will say I have found Sonic the Hedgehog to be my probably the character I draw the worst, I would say. I don't know why. I think it's because like I have trouble simplifying it. Like I overdraw it, I give it too many lines, or I give it try to light it or something, put shadows on it that aren't part of his normal look. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Hey, Daniel. Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear you're trying to draw. I think that drawing, honestly, without it, I don't know what the hell I would do. Even if nobody cared about what I was drawing, I'd still be doing it. Is there anything you've been trying to draw more lately? Are you drawing characters or figures? Are you doing landscapes? Pictures of horses like the you see at the museums? Portraits of rich people. That's the other classic fine art thing that always there's demand for. There we go. Just trying to make sure I didn't completely blow the. It can be, yeah, definitely. I'm just amazed that, so many talented folks put their efforts into comics. I don't know. I guess we're all kind of inspired by that thing early on. Well, I think for me, the aha moment was when I really understood that the credits page was like these are people, and they make these. And I like to draw, so I want to learn how to do that too. Mostly character design stuff and abstract. Character design is very fun. It really is. Just the freedom of just making it up on the fly and then refining it and doing different takes. That can be very fun. So, one of the things I've really, if I had the book in front of me, I would show it off. Been looking at the that Nexus Chronicle book that's kind of like an artist edition that had like pencils and inks by Steve Rude next to each other. One of the things that I was kind of self conscious about was how many decisions I was still making at the inking process. So like rather than just like putting these slick lines over everything, I'm still making drawing decisions like the fidelity of a line or the angle or some sort of refinement, you know. And I was happy to see that somebody as good as Steve Rude would still be refining the drawing at the inking stage. And it's not just putting pretty slick lines on top of stuff. Hey, Michael, thank you. I'll uh, I'll send you a check for $1 in the mail. And we got over, I think we got over 500 on YouTube. So every month we get a few more folks that just drop in and go, hey, that's not so bad. If I had time, I would do like the thing that makes it grow is like do clips and things like that. I just don't have the time. I've got time to do a live, and then I've got time to draw comics, and then do other stuff that helps keep the lights on. So I have not drawn at all today. It's just been other graphic design, overseeing decal installation, running errands, stuff I haven't had to do in some time. So I don't think I have my phone on me. Dana says, I will say I did a drawing and put it on a skateboard graphic. Still have to order it online though. It's a giraffe and a landscape type setting. Oh, that's cool. For like a decal to go on a skateboard. Your skateboard, or Martha says they are making a commission, which that's cool. What are you drawing tonight? Excuse me. Pull the hair in. Got a little bit of sunburn today too, so that's not helping with my focus. I hadn't been outside that long at all this year, so I was wearing a hat and sunglasses, so I didn't notice. Usually my forehead is the telltale sign I'm getting a sunburn and I need to go inside, but that was my fault. Website lets you make custom board designs. Oh, they put it directly on a deck. Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, my friends in high school and stuff were big skateboarders. Now I was a hockey player, so I would like rollerblade with them because I used to rollerblade in the off season for training. But yeah, it's cool. Glad I popped on. I was considering canceling tonight just because honestly, I didn't set up the stream until 5 minutes before we went on. Actually, that's a mistake. Let's see if I have my eraser anywhere. I've considered doing those print-on-demand sites for some of my stuff, and I might take some of my books there. I know that a really incredible artist named Kyle Baker, he puts his books as print on demand over on Amazon. Um, I'd be interested to know if people have had good experiences with that, or if they even purchase stuff like that, or if it's just like I might as well just put it on my website and just offer pre-orders. Because I don't know if I'll go the Kickstarter route again. I don't know. We'll see how finishing up the campaign goes and see if people want to, I don't know, throw me into the ocean. I'll change this hand. There we go. All right. Like I said, we're just going to try to pencil this tonight, and then if we can ink it tomorrow while I'm eating a sandwich or something, we'll do that. Like I said, I got to get up super early tomorrow, so we're trying to, and I got to do work after this. So I did show the page that I was working on earlier in the stream. So if anybody's here, just to check the status update of the book, it's right after the beginning. It's page 56, and I'll show it again just before we sign off. I forgot to ink it, pencil in his nose. He does need a nose. Does he breathe underwater, or does he just hold his breath for a super long time? We will find out together. Does it matter is the question. Maybe at some point a storytelling device like can he hold his breath for 3 days could be cool. How long can he stay out of water if he breathes water? That was actually like, if anybody's read like the Silver Age Aquaman, like I would say every other issue it was, can Aquaman get back to the sea so he can breathe again? Or will he be doomed? That was like the cliffhanger of so many Silver Age Aquaman stories. As much as I enjoy them, there is a what shall we say, a drumbeat to which they storytell. I don't know if you can hear my cat. He is hollering outside the door. Gotta have our big Undersea Hero. The Undersea Hero logo is literally just like those old cartoon magnets. I don't know if, and it's just got like a little water instead of a straight line. So I don't know if you ever saw like when Bugs Bunny would use. Douglas, good to see you, man. If a fish can breathe underwater at 500 feet, can it still breathe at 3,000? Like, is the pressure or oxygen content at an issue at different depths? The pressure is, and there are some fish that actually, when they come up from the depths, like like an anglerfish, otherwise known as a football fish, I'm sure you've seen those. They've got the little lamp on their head. They look. Draw a little picture, just because I like them. Anglerfish looks like this. And then they have like a little tail in the back like that. They got their little fins on the side. And they got the big teeth. So drawing the fish is fun. And then they got this little lantern on top of their head. Now these are the females. The males of the species, you didn't think you were getting a science lesson, are actually little tiny fellas. They're like this big. And what they do is they actually attach themselves to the female for breeding. They will like latch on to like the side, so one will be like hanging on to the side like this. But anyway, when these come up to the surface, they can only exist for a short period of time, and then they basically just turn into a pile of goo. They'll come up to the surface, and like if you ever see one that's preserved, you'll see that like it's basically skin over a skeleton. Also, the salinity will change at different places in the ocean where like it opens up to a river or fresh water seeps in from underneath. So, but there's our anglerfish science lesson for the evening. Does glow work better with pale over dark or vice versa? You want to have a very dark back layer. Like I said, gradient mapping. I'll write it out here, gradient mapping. If I find a good tutorial, I'll email it to you. Is a really good method for what you're trying to accomplish, but always want to have a darker background. If your foreground element is what you want to glow, then you have a darker background and a brighter foreground. So, darker background, brighter foreground. Is that what I said? That's what I said. We'll pretend that's what I said. Yeah. You always want to have the contrast when you're doing that. And if you can have a flat color behind, it's always an extra bonus. So like, let's say, we wanted this to glow right here. What we would do is we would put basically like a flat black behind it. This wouldn't be good because it's like got a gradient to it. We would want like the flattest black we could. And then there's different other ways to like denote, like with cartooning, forms of light. One of them is like the glimmer. I don't know if you've seen any of the pieces I've done. Let me try to darken this in, see how it pops more when we have like a solid black behind it. But when I take something like this is a Pentel white, and I just go, boop. You can also do this with a razor blade on thick paper. And then you can add spatter a little bit, and that gives you like these little flecks of light. Different ways to create the illusion with just black and white. There we go. All right, well, let's get our sketch here finished because I gotta go do some more work after this. Always the good gag of two tails on one speech balloon to have them talking at the same time. And, I'll go with a real simple background where I'll add some of my typical water directionals like this to try to frame it like that. And you know, we can always add more stuff if we want to, but I think that sometimes keeping it simpler is better. Um, and if I were to do this in the background, I would probably try to create. Let's see what we can do here. Now let's have them just in the deep sea. So let's have them in deep sea. We were just talking about an anglerfish, so let's just have it deep underwater. Now, in order to not lose this glove, which is a black glove, you probably want to give it like a little bit of a halo. Um, that also implies that there's other light sources. So we'll just fill in the background. I'll do the speech balloon last, so that'll be our reveal. Yeah, the gradient mapping requires using separate layers for stuff and very specific step-by-step instructions. And you'll be amazed at how much brighter the outcome is for your glowiness. I know that that's not a word, but we're going to use it as a descriptor because we're cool like that. I think we're friendly enough to use made-up words at this point. And if I wanted to create some sort of a glow behind them, I could easily just crosshatch this section or something, but I think I'd rather just fill it in for this particular piece. And we can always add some fish if we want some extra texture. That's the beauty of doing it in a cartoon way, is that fish far away, it's kind of like birds far away on a landscape. It's just a little V. Like we can just create little ones, little fish like that. And they will just be saying cheese as if getting their pictures taken. And then for most of the Undersea Hero, I assign it Best Fishes, which I stole from Steve Martin. One of his comedy albums has a fake signed picture in it, and it says Best Fishes on it. So. Oh, thank you, Daniel. Anglerfish are cool. There's so many, whether it's the gulper eel or the goblin shark, there's just so many fascinating creatures down there, and they're discovering them all the time. The Imbari cameras that are down in the ocean right now, they have YouTube and TikTok, and I believe they're on Instagram. And scientists watch these things just to be like, oh, did something new walk by? Because there's so many new things they're discovering all the time. But wow, yeah, we had a fair number of people tonight. So we're going to wrap tonight. I'll show off that page that we're working on one last time in case people just wanted the update. Page 56. We introduced the spectacular spider crab. This is Undersea Heroes deep sea vent volcanic layer. We've got those cool barnacles, those giant things, different creatures, and we get to see inside the layer. Someone knocks on the door, and then the last page is a big reveal. It is terrifying, Douglas. You are on another planet on those things. It does. There's just so much there. Like, and it's not just like little invertebrates. It's or bacteria. It's sea creatures. Giant ones like fully like crabs, fish, all kinds of stuff. Oh, perfect. Thanks. I will see everybody next week. Thanks for everybody for popping in, Daniel. All the new people. Douglas, good to see you. I saw that page you posted. It looked great. So, yeah. Have a good night, everybody, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.